Greetings and salutations, everyone. Welcome to something new that might only be a one time thing, or I don't know, maybe I'll come back and record more. But welcome to the first episode of. In today's show, we're going to be talking about the college football playoff rankings that just came out yesterday. Um, a preview of the three biggest games of the weekend in college football, and Major League Baseball outdrawing the NBA Finals. So without further ado, let's take a look at these CFP rankings. Oh, wrong one. This one. So the rankings came out last night. Let's just do a quick rundown. You have. Let's go top to bottom. Bottom to top. You got Tennessee at 25, Iowa at 24, Louisville at 20. Wait, how did? Oh no, they did that. Dang it. This is off to a terrible shot. We have Tennessee at 25, Pittsburgh at 24, Washington at 23, Mizzou at 22, right? That's 22. Michigan at 21, Iowa at 20, USC at 19, Miami at 18, Georgia Tech at 17, Vanderbilt at 16, Louisville at 15, Virginia at 14, Utah at 13, Oklahoma at 12, Texas at 11, Notre Dame at 10, Oregon at 9, Texas Tech at 8, BYU at 7, Ole Miss at 6, Georgia 5, Bama 4, A&M 3, Indiana 2, Ohio State number 1. So first thing that jumps off to me is just this. The top 5, no, top 6 I want to say. The top 6 or top 5, I think it's the top 5. The top 5 stays the same with the AP. Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M, Alabama, Georgia. Same teams in the top 5. Those stay the same. Something else that comes to mind that pops off, and that is Oregon being dropped down to 9. If I'm not mistaken, they were number 6 or number 7 in the AP poll, and the committee just said we don't think you've been playing that well, and you don't really have a good resume, so we're gonna drop you down to 9. What else comes to my mind? The Big 12 is getting a lot of respect here. They have 3 teams in the top 13. BYU at 7, Texas Tech at 8, and you have Utah up there at 13. The ACC, the ACC's outside the top 12. Uh, the ACC had started off this year very good. However, they've just kind of, I don't even want to say fallen off a cliff, because Virginia and Louisville has been very consistent. It's just that their blue bloods, well, not blue bloods, but their top dogs this year, Miami and Georgia Tech. Well, Miami hasn't played good in the last 3 weeks, 2 losses in 3 weeks, and Georgia Tech, I think they got punished significantly for losing to NC State. So right now, it's not looking very good for the ACC. If you look at this top bottom 5 here, no, before we get to the bottom 5, Iowa is getting some respect. Iowa is not ranked in the AP poll. Iowa is getting a lot of respect here, and I like it. Like I thought I had Iowa ranked 24 in my ranking this week, so Iowa's getting some respect. Washington's getting some respect. Pitt's getting some respect. I don't think Tennessee should still be ranked. I don't mind them being 25, but I don't think Tennessee should still be ranked. But let's talk about supposedly an elephant in the room, which I don't think is a big deal, but it's a big deal to a lot of people, and that is Notre Dame being ranked number 10. I don't think this is all that bad. I will probably have them up there in the 10 range, and maybe, no, I actually had them ranked number 10 in my ranking, but I don't see the controversy putting them at number 10. If you look at Notre Dame playing football right now, they are, I think they're one of the 10 best teams in the country. And you may throw out the narrative of, oh, they have 2 losses. Oh, they have 2 losses. Who have they beaten? They've lost to, where they at? Texas A&M, the number 3 team in the country, and they lost to Miami, ranked number 18th in the country. Both of those losses came in what, essentially like the last play of the game. Well, not the last play of the game, but they had, when they got the ball back, they essentially had no time to like try to get a game-winning drive together to score a touchdown or to tie with a field goal. So in my opinion, I think Notre Dame they're perfectly ranked. I just think a lot of people just use their, you know how we throw around the term SEC bias or the term of like, oh, this team has bias because of their brand. I think a lot of people don't want to show some respect to Notre Dame because they have a lot of hate for them. Like I have hate for Notre Dame. I used to have hate for Notre Dame. I don't really hate teams anymore, but I think Notre Dame is worthy of the number 10 ranking. Um, I think that's it. I want to speak on it. I think that's about it that I want to talk about the rankings. Let's talk. Let's look at the bracket. So here's the bracket: is if the playoffs were to start today. You have the top four seeds getting a bye: Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M, and Alabama. But let's take a look at these first round matchups, especially this one right here in the top corner, and that is Georgia and Memphis. Now, if I showed you the rankings, when I showed you the rankings, Memphis is not ranked. So Memphis will be an unranked team because they won their conference title, because they're due a conference bid because they won their conference title. Memphis will be an unranked team getting in the playoff. Another team who isn't in the top 12, Virginia, they will get an automatic bid because, they are one of the five highest ranked conference champions. But they're not in the top 12, so they will be getting in. They will be playing Ole Miss. You have BYU versus Notre Dame, and you have Oregon versus Texas Tech. So these might be some like under the weather, I wanted to say, playoff matchups compared to last year when you had Texas, Clemson, Ohio State, Tennessee. This year, I think the only like going off of these rankings, the only like matchup to keep your eye on is maybe, you know what? Never mind. Looking at these again, I think these are respectable matchups. But yeah, this is the projected playoff bracket based off the first week of the rankings. And I'm gonna just say this: if Memphis is able to get in as an unranked team, there's gonna be a lot of chaos amongst the group of five. You're gonna have a lot of people spew narratives about how the G5 shouldn't get in, and I might be one of those people who say the G5 should probably have their own playoff. But hey, that's a conversation for another day. All right, let's get into these big three games that is happening this weekend in college football. The first matchup, we have Texas Tech versus BYU. ESPN's predictor has Texas Tech winning by 60, gives them a 60% chance of winning this game. And Texas Tech, they're favored by 10 and a half, which was, I thought that was a big enough line. That's a big line. If we look at their rankings, Texas Tech, they have the fifth best offense in the country. They're 14th in passing, 24th in rushing, and they have the third best scoring offense in the country. BYU's defense is 27th in the country, 28th in passing, 43rd in rushing, and 16th in scoring. So Texas Tech's defense has a slight edge in the, yeah, they have like a little slight edge here. If we look at BYU's offense, BYU comes in with the 34th best 34th overall best offense, 85th in passing, 15th in rushing, and 19th in scoring. Texas Tech's defense is 10th in FBS overall, the 37th best passing defense. They have the number one overall rushing defense in college football, and they have the fifth best scoring defense. So looking at this breakdown, Texas Tech's strength is their run defense. BYU's offense strength is their rushing offense. So that's gonna be a nice battle. And if you look at the offenses, BYU has a good B level defense, while Texas Tech has one of the best offenses in the country. Um, let's take a look at more stats. Both teams do perform well on defense. Oh, gosh, I'm using ESPN preview thing here. Texas Tech is 18th in FBS, allowing opponents to convert on. Fuck. Both teams are good at taking away well, getting takeaways and also holding on to the ball. They both have, I think, no, Texas Tech is ranked 10th in FBS with a +5 turnover margin, and BYU is ranked 5th in the country with a +10 turnover margin. BYU is 20th in FBS and red zone offenses. They score on basically 99%, well, not 99, 9 out of 10% of their trips. They have a 91.9% rate on trips. And Texas Tech ranks 88th in FBS on overall time of possession, and BYU is ranked 20th. It's a 3 minute difference. With that being said, I think I'm going to take Texas Tech to get the W here. Another big matchup going on in college football. We have Oregon versus Indiana. Oregon versus Iowa. Oregon has a 70% chance to win this game via ESPN predictor, and they're favored by a touchdown. If we look at the stats, Iowa has never had a. Iowa's not known for their offense. Iowa's ranked 121st in FBS in total offense, 132nd in passing offense, 38th in rushing offense, and they're 52nd in scoring. Their defense, however, is second in the country. Their passing defense is fifth in the country. Their rushing defense is 10th in the country, and their scoring defense is fourth in the country. If you look at Oregon's stats, Oregon has the number 9 ranked offense in the country. They have the 52nd ranked passing offense in the country. They have the ninth best rushing defense in the country, rushing offense in the country, and they have the fifth best scoring offense in the country. Their defense, on the other hand, fourth best in the country, the number 1 passing offense in the country. They're 31st in rushing, and they have the sixth best scoring defense in the country. So this could be a defensive game. Looking at the stats, Iowa's going to really need to run the ball here. They're going to have to take advantage of the rushing game. They average 183 points, 183 yards per game, while Oregon's defense only let up 114 yards. So it's going to be a good scrim versus scrim game. This may be a low scoring game. If we look at some more stats here, Oregon is 10th in FBS in defensive third down percentages, only allowing teams to convert on third down 30% of the time. Both teams are tied in FBS when it comes to turnover margins. Both teams are also very disciplined, with Iowa being the best team in the country at penalty yards. They've only given up 23 yards penalty yards per game, while Oregon gives up 40 penalty yards per game. However, Oregon has essentially the worst red zone defense in college football. Every time a team gotten in the red zone, they've given up a touchdown. 100% of the trips allowed in the red zone, they've given up a touchdown. So that's something to keep your eye on. And Iowa's red zone offense is 10th in the country. So if Iowa's able to get into the red zone, there's a good chance they may be able to score a touchdown. But will they do enough to march down the field to get there? We'll see. But with that being said, I think I lean Oregon here to get the W over Iowa. The next matchup and final matchup I want to talk about is Texas A&M versus Mizzou. Now, via ESPN predictor, Texas A&M has a 56% chance to win this game, and they're minus 4.5 to win this game. Missouri comes into this game with the 14th best offense in the country, the 60th best passing offense in the country, the 10th best rushing offense in the country, and the 24th best scoring offense in the country. Meanwhile, their defense is 5th in the country. Their passing defense is 7th in the country. Their rushing defense is 11th in the country, and their the scoring defense is 13th in the country. Texas A&M, on the other hand, comes into this game with the 19th best offense in the country, the 34th best passing offense in the country, the 23rd best rushing offense in the country. They have the 11th best scoring offense in the country. Their defense, on the other hand, 31st in FBS. Their passing defense is 44th. Their rushing defense is 33rd, and their scoring defense is 60th. So a pretty even game, I want to say, when it comes to like comparing their offenses and defenses. Yeah, pretty even. Look, Missouri defense has a edge over all over Texas A&M offense, but Texas A&M, it's been kind of weird watching Texas A&M this year because usually Texas A&M is like a closeted Notre Dame where like they get a lot of hype and then they just ultimately disappoint. But hey, they are the third best team in the country for a reason. Let's look at some more previews here. Both teams perform well defensively on third down. Missouri is fifth in the country at allowing opponents to convert on 27% of the time. Texas A&M ranks first, allowing a 22% third down conversion rate. Texas A&M near the bottom of FBS. They are one of the most undisciplined teams in college football. They have allowed 67.1 penalty yards per game, while Missouri is kind of above average. They are 53rd in FBS. They allow 52 yards per game. So this might be a undisciplined game. Texas A&M also, much like Oregon, one of the worst red zone defenses in college football. They've allowed a 96% conversion rate when it comes to allowing the offense to get into the red zone. And Missouri, on the other hand, they have an 87% conversion rate when it comes to getting into the red zone. So they have an 87% chance of scoring. Oh, no, this is allowing to score, not a touchdown. So if you just get in the red zone, Missouri has an 87% chance of just scoring. So, with that being said, I think I am going to pick Texas A&M. I am picking A&M to win this game. They're going to remain undefeated. So I think in my 3 picks this week, I'm picking the favorite team, right? Well, the Texas Tech and BYU game, BYU is technically like, you know, the higher ranked team, but Texas Tech is favored. So yeah. One last thing I want to talk about is Game 7 of the World Series outdrew Game 7 of the NBA Finals. Now, I made a YouTube short talking about this, but I didn't really go into depth. It's not too surprising that this has happened. The number one factor is that the finals had two small market teams in it. Thunder, Pacers. I'm sorry if you're a Thunder fan or a Pacers fan watching this video. You have to hear me say it again, like you guys heard it all the time during the finals. But that's just the truth. Like, not many people care about the Thunder and Pacers. Well, not many people watch the Thunder and Pacers due to their media markets, as well as brand variety. The Thunder are still fairly a young team. Like, yes, they used to be the Sonics, but OKC is a new branding, and the OKC Thunder have not turned 20 years old yet. While the Pacers, they had some moments in the past, like the 90s with Jordan. You had the early 2000s with Reggie Miller, and the early 2010s with PG. But other than that, they haven't really gotten into that upper echelon. Another thing to talk about is that Shohei Ohtani is just basically the best player in baseball. He's one of the most. I would argue he's probably a top 5 marketable player in American pro sports. That neither the Thunder or Pacers have that. And on top of that, he plays for the Dodgers, one of the most popular teams in American pro sports. So that gives a boost to the ratings. And it's also important to note that these ratings do not count Canada and Japan. So this is purely American-based viewership, and I believe the World Series game did 25 million, and the NBA Finals game did 16 million. So do what you that. Um, what else I want to say? Damn it! Oh yeah, the presentation. ESPN's presentation of the NBA has just taken a decline, and this sucks because I don't want to defend ESPN. It's just that I know ESPN is better than what they are right now because we've seen it before. So like, it is very disappointing to see ESPN like lack coverage because if you look at their Monday Night Football coverage was not very good. Like for the last 10 years until they got Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, and ever since then, I think Monday Night Football has been a top 3 production when it comes to like their like the 18 production crews for like CBS, Fox, and NBC. I think they're top 3, maybe top 2. Now, granted, there's only 5 broadcast networks, but yeah, I think their Monday Night Football has gotten significantly better. It's a shame that they won't do this with the NBA. Like, yes, they have inside the NBA, but inside the NBA, it's going to be limited. Like, I believe the next time they're going to appear is in like next Wednesday, not tonight, and then after that, it's going to be until Christmas. But yeah, and if you compare that to Fox's presentation of the World Series, like Fox makes it feels like an event, especially with that theme music, the whole camera cuts to like the fans waving their little towels and stuff. I just think one of the reasons that the World Series outdrew the finals is just the presentation. ESPN's been lacking for like since the turn of the decade, basically. But yeah, that is all I want to say. If you've got this far, I know it hasn't been this good. Uh, Thank you for watching. Please like the video, hit the subscribe button, and maybe I'll see you in the next episode if I do another one.